All right, so today we're going to learn how to make picadillo the way my mom makes it. So, Mom, how do you make picadillo?
Main ingredients are ground meat, not too greasy, and potatoes. Then we need the ingredients, the other ingredients, spices. For that we will need onion, we will need garlic, a bit of cumin, and black pepper. And whole is preferred because it's tastier, it's fresher. So those are the main spices that we're going to use. Towards the end, one other spice we use will be parsley flakes. Fresh preferred, but if you don't have fresh, the dry parsley will do. That's towards the end to give it additional flavor. And that is it. We're gonna need tomato. And if you have some chicken bouillon or fresh chicken bouillon, caldo, chicken stock, but this will do. Salt.
And this is 80/20? Yes,
It's
80/20 beef.
80/20.
Yep. Okay.
It can be leaner, you know. It doesn't necessarily have to be 80/20. If it has more fat in it, you just spoon it out once you fry it. So, whatever you're able to get, it'll do. Prefer chuck. Chuck has more flavor. So that's what we're gonna need to begin with. The potatoes need to be peeled and they need to be cut in little cubes, like a half an inch wide, and your meat. You start by frying your meat and then adding the potatoes. So we're going to start now by getting our potatoes peeled.
Perfect. All right, so now we're at the point where we're cooking the meat. We have 3 pounds of ground beef. We have how many potatoes, Mom?
3 large potatoes.
3 large potatoes,
1 per pound.
diced, about half an inch each. And onions.
Onions.
What's next?
Then once the meat is halfway fried, we take the excess fat from it, and we start adding our other ingredients, which is the onion, so it can start adding flavor to the meat. Somebody said before, and start frying it with the meat, and then after a couple of minutes we add the potatoes so they can start frying with the meat and the onion, and everything will be
Cohesive.
yeah.
Perfect. All right. All right, Thea Maria, what's the next step?
Okay, the meat is halfway cooking. We have already drained the excess fat off the meat, and it's time to incorporate the onions so that we can, that meat is going to take in the flavor of the onion. And so wait until the onion is almost like caramelized, and then we will add the potatoes so they can start frying, and then we'll cover them with whatever, if you have a lid, use a lid. If you don't, use whatever you have around the kitchen to cover this with the potatoes in it so they can finish cooking and get ready for the delicious flavor of all the spices we're putting in there.
Tell
Which
me
is-
about the
which is-
ratio of
The
garlic.
ratio of garlic to, if you're cooking 1 pound of meat, use 1 large potato and use 2 cloves of garlic. But since we're doing 3, we're using 6 cloves of garlic. So you just multiply it times the number of pounds that you have, and that's what you use. And you do the same with your cumin, and you do the same with your black pepper. And it's all, like I said, gonna be ground in here so that you can have the old-fashioned flavor, the typical Mexican flavor of your picadillo.
Fresh.
Okay, so we've added the potatoes.
Yes, they're now frying some, so we have to stir them. Make sure that they fry on all sides for a while. After which we are going to cover them so they can finish cooking. They don't have to necessarily fry completely, but the covering them will help them cook until we're ready to put in the spices. So, but it helps if they're fried a little, okay? So we need to fry them a little, then cover them so they can finish cooking along with the meat and the onion. And then comes the spices, which we are now preparing. We've already got the spices in the molcajete, and here they are. The cumin and the garlic, the black pepper, whole black pepper, and next comes the tomato. Some of it is going to be ground in the molcajete, but it's not large enough for all of them. So we're going to do some in the molcajete and some in the blender because it's 3 pounds. So it requires more than 2 or 3 tomatoes. So that's why we're going to do half of it in here and half of it in the blender, so we can have it enough for our dish. That's what it is. We're doing this the traditional way. That's where we're using a molcajete, like our mothers and grandmothers use, which gives it, once you grind everything in your molcajete, we're grinding it on this stone that gives it the great flavor of Mexican cuisine. So that's what we're doing it all. We're using whole black pepper instead of powdered black pepper for the full flavor of it. Whole cominos, full cumins or cominos to give it the full flavor. And so we're using the cominos, the black pepper kernels that we're going to mash on the molcajete, and then we're going to get the tomato and either mash it here or use the blender so we can have a nice smooth blend of it. But this is what we're doing now, getting ready for when the meat and the potatoes are ready for the spices. And that's what we do.
Perfect. All right, so here we go. We have the molcajete.
Yes. Part of the tomatoes, as I mentioned before, part of the tomatoes were grounded in here with the rest of the spices. The rest of the tomatoes, because we need more than 1 or 2 tomatoes. 3 pounds of meat require like 4 to 6 big tomatoes. So we got the rest of the tomatoes here. We incorporated whatever tomatoes we had. Flavor will be the same, so that's what we're gonna do. And then we put the ground in spices into our mixture in here and blend it all together, and that's what we're going to put in the meat. And it should be ready in a few minutes. It's already been covered. Here it is. It's already been covered and it's cooking. So the potatoes are the only thing that need to be cooked a little more so they won't be hard when you put in the spices. Okay? So after this, it's only going to be another 15-20 minutes and everything will be ready. Yes.
Okay, so right now we're adding the cubitos, which is the
Chicken bouillon,
yep.
nor cubitos, or whatever you can find. Chicken is chicken. Chicken flavor is what we need, so it gives it additional flavor. And salt. It adds the salt. After we add it, you will taste it, and if you feel that it needs more salt, you can add regular salt to it. But in the meantime, this is what we're going to use for salt and flavor. Okay? I'm also going to use one of these. Give it the color. Because those were they weren't red enough. Had they been red enough, we would have needed them. They weren't red enough. Ooh, this is smelling so good. It smells wonderful. Look at that. You can see the brown on the potatoes, the meat, everything. You put everything in at the right time, so the onion is just caramelized and adding flavor to the meat and the potatoes. It's just wonderful. The flavor's going to be, whoa, great. And it's ready. It's nice and tender, and it's
it's good.
soft, so it's ready for the flavor to be added, and the flavor is the spices. So here we go. We're gonna need some water to it, or chicken stock. If you have chicken stock, we can add chicken stock. We're adding the cubito, so. Mix it together. It's gonna make some have chicken stock, chicken broth, I see, so it will help if it's chicken broth and not just water. Let's see how much we can. It's not soup, so we don't have to put too much of it, just enough to give it consistency and it won't be too dry. We'll mix it and see how much of it we need. Don't put that away, you're gonna need it. If you still cover it for a little while longer. We're gonna taste for salt content in a minute, not right now. So we can add salt if needed. It does need a little more, either salt or chicken bouillon. So we have some powder one. We're adding a little to it. There you go. There we go. Oh, it's smelling wonderful. I can almost taste it now. It's all going to incorporate and give it that flavor that we are so looking forward to.
All right.
Yeah, turn it off. Okay.
So we just added parsley.
We added parsley to it. It's the very end here. You can add cilantro if you wish, but parsley gives it that extra flavor, special flavor.
Okay.
Okay. We are in the process of getting ready to serve. So we are going to accompany that delicious picadillo with some guacamole. Freshly cut and mixed together. We're going to serve it on the inside the molcajete so that it can look beautiful before we eat it. And our picadillo, come over. Our picadillo is ready. Take a look. Watch that. Ooh, look at that. Doesn't it look enticing, delicious? Well, it's ready. We're gonna just give it a couple of minutes and then we're gonna let it sit there for a few more minutes before we serve it. And we should be ready to eat it. We have side dishes. We have rice, spicy rice over here, and the guacamole on this side, and tortillas ready to be put on the griddle, and we on the comal, and we will be ready to start enjoying our picadillo. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, we are done. It's ready, and if you can tell from looking at it, it's delicious, it's scrumptious. We've tasted it and it's just great. We're getting ready to serve. We have our spicy rice out here. I'm gonna serve the first plate so you can see what it's like and what it looks like. We're gonna serve a good serving of our picadillo. Who gets it? We don't know. You all can fight over it. That's it. And a side of the spicy ricey. No beans this time, but spicy ricey will have to do. And to it, we're gonna add some guacamole. And you will see, excuse me, our finished product here. Guacamole served in the molcajete, old-fashioned way. Everything's fresh and chopped by hand. And here we go with the guacamole. Okay. And there we go. Enjoy.